Hey everybody, how are we all doing this evening? Just a shorter one tonight. We're going to be focusing on one person only, one scientist that's been killed. I see there's not many people here. Nathan and Pen are here at Memorial Gardens. Hello, how you doing? Now, I didn't set this up till quite recently, so I don't think any notifications have gone out, even the warning one. So hopefully we'll get more people in. But if we don't, it doesn't matter because it will always be left up. So people that miss the notifications can watch this another time. So hopefully you can all hear me okay. If there's anyone there. Is there anybody there? Are you still here, Nathan Penn? If you can hear me. Oh, Bridget's here. Hello, Bridget, love. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to see the notification. So, oh, it's coming up as 4:11 p.m. on your comment. So we must be... Yeah, it's got to be using US Eastern time. Hi, Tamsin, how you doing? Tonight, guys, we're just going to be doing one person. So, oh, it's so changed now. It's all different. It greys you out for me when I've already showed you comment. That's amazing. Sorry about that. Can you hear me okay? Hopefully you can. So tonight we're going to be covering a scientist called Carl Grillmair. Hold on, I can never get this guy's name right. Okay, Grillmair or Grillmair. Go for Grillmair. He was shot dead. Another one. Hi, Larry of Arc. Bridget, you thought things were getting weird before. Things are going to get a whole lot weirder. Thank you, Tamsin. A whole lot weirder. So the next one I'm going to do, General McCasland, that is going to be a whole show dedicated to him because he's still missing. Now, rather than group General McCasland and Carl Grillmair in the same one, it would have been too big. So I'm doing a smaller show tonight, and then we'll be doing General McCasland this week, probably Thursday now. We'll see. Probably Thursday because I'm out tomorrow evening. So this guy was another NASA scientist, and he also... Well, he worked for Caltech, a private company, but he had also worked for NASA, as in he did NASA contracts. Now, this guy actually won Scientist of the Year in 2011, NASA Scientist of the Year. It's really sad. It is really, really sad what happened to this guy. Let me just get these two up and then we'll watch a quick video. He was shot on his porch exactly, literally almost to the day, or maybe to the day, exactly 2 months after the one that we did on Friday. Hang on a minute, I'm getting mixed up now. The one that we did on Sunday, which was... Hold on a sec. I can never say his name. Nuno, sorry. Nuno Larerio was the MIT professor that was killed in Brookline in Boston. Exactly 2 months later, Carl Grillmair was shot down on his porch. The person that did it, this is where things get really, really bizarre. The person that did it apparently we'll see in a video in a moment, where Carl lived was in the middle of nowhere in California. There was nobody around for miles, and the person who did it lived about 10 or 20 miles away, which, didn't know him at all. But what's really bizarre is there was a phone call to the police in December. Now, many reports say it was from Carl, but apparently it's from his wife, saying this weird guy was hanging around. So let me just try and get a video up, because I think that's the best way to do it, is to get a video up. I'm just going to show you this guy. Oh no, it's going to make me subscribe. It's not going to let me watch this. I don't want to subscribe. Oh no, that's annoying. Right, I can't see the chat, but I'm hoping that some people have come in. If you have, I hope you're all okay. Welcome, welcome. Please hit the like or the dislike. We won't get upset. Right, 14 people here. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Hi, Andrew. Right, this was Carl. Just before we watch this very, very, very short video here. Oh, it's an ad. We've got an ad on, that's why. Let's wait for the ad to go. This is going to give you a few basics of it, but he was shot dead on his porch exactly the same way as Nuno Loureiro was just 2 months earlier over in Boston. Now, this guy helped to map out the Milky Way. This is how insane this is. He discovered water on other planets. We're going to get this quick report and then we're going to get into the work that he did. And this is interesting because on Wednesday, so tomorrow, this dude who killed him, allegedly, but it was him, but allegedly, because we have to do that, he's going to be in court. So I'm going to find out if we can actually live stream it. So let's watch this very quick video. Hopefully it works.
Nearly
Oh, another ad, guys. I'm sorry. How annoying.
Oh, no. Is this the episode with the breakup?
How do we find the one?
Okay, let's simmer
Hi,
down.
everybody.
now.
Hi,
You
Charlie.
need
Hi,
Realtor.com,
Sparkle. How you doing,
the app the
gorgeous?
pros trust
Linda's
most.
here.
With
Hello,
over
love.
500,000 new
Andrew's
listings every
here.
month,
I'll
you
get
can
into
find
the
the
chat
one
properly
today.
in a minute. Let's
This
just
could be
watch
it.
this.
Better put a key ring on it.
You could say that again.
You better put a key ring on it. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Realtor.com. What's the next ad going to be?
What the hell? This lady's crazy.
How is this an ad? This isn't even the video to what we were just watching. How weird. What the hell is going on here? Let's try again, shall we? Let's try again. Technology. Never work with technology, children, or animals. This is a nightmare, this page. Got another ad. But this guy was really important. He was 67 years old and he was a renowned scientist. He helped map the Milky Way. He discovered water on distant planets, if you believe all that. He was another amazing mind just gone. Let's hopefully this works. Let's see. Come on then. Right, audio.
Llano home in the Antelope Valley.
Right.
Caltech scientist is shot and killed at his Llano home in the Antelope Valley. Deputies found 67-year-old Carl Grillmair on his porch Monday morning. They say he died right there on the scene. Authorities arresting 29-year-old Freddie Snyder, linking him to the murder, carjacking, and a burglary. Snyder is being held on $2 million bail. Grillmair was known for his research on dark matter and planets that orbit stars outside of our solar system.
Dark matter. This is serious stuff, folks. This is really serious stuff when they're talking about dark matter. So that was a really quick one. We've got more detailed video in a moment. So he was gunned down by this person who, again, is caught on Wednesday. His suspect was Freddie Schneider, who was 29. He didn't know him. But what's weird is he kept coming onto his property, and we'll get into that more in a moment. So this was Carl here. Now, he called authorities in December. Now, it says here that he did, but I've got confirmation that his wife said that she called them, not him. So he called authorities to report a trespasser on his rugged, sprawling lot on the 20th of December, according to sheriff officials and court records. When deputies arrived, They found Snyder carrying a loaded gun, unregistered rifle. He claimed he was walking to the post office and carried the weapon for protection against wild animals. Property records indicate the post office was located in the opposite direction to Snyder's home, according to the Times. So he was arrested. This is what's so bizarre about this case. He was arrested on felony weapons charge and further accused of attempting to escape the Palmdale Station jail the following day, a criminal complaint showed. So he was arrested on, a felon, not a misdemeanor, a felon charge. And then a further charge. And then during his court appearance 3 days later, he was released on his own recognizance. By the 5th of Feb, less than 2 weeks before the shooting, prosecutors moved to drop the charges entirely, given his lack of prior criminal record. What? So this is what makes no sense. So the judge could have put him away then, and Carl would be alive because he was hanging around his home. This is how I believe this one is definitely linked here. Now, his wife is saying that she doesn't think it's linked, but all the families are saying this. Maybe the odd aunt or parent, but all the partners of all of these cases are saying there is nothing to see here. So he got Newsom appointed judge. So it was Gavin Newsom who appointed him. We all know about him. He had a gun outside someone's house, and he literally could have just put him away there and then. So he had felony charges dismissed by a Newsom appointed judge. Yeah, there's the judge. And I think it's a Muslim judge again, Ozam Abbasi. So he was accused of 2 felonies. He was told to return to court on the 5th of February and didn't show up. Yet his safety course was still accepted by the court, and the case was suddenly dismissed under Penal Code 1385 of California law. So all charges were dropped and he was dismissed, which allowed him 11 days later to go back and murder Carl at his remote home in Antelope Valley, California. Now, if I've had confirmation that when this guy was arrested, Carl actually told police to take it easy on this guy because he thought he had mental health problems. This is what the wife has told reporters. So it wasn't like it was a revenge attack. It wasn't like it was Carl that got him arrested, got this Freddie Schneider arrested. He actually said, go easy on him. He's just mentally ill, just tell him to stay away from my property. All charges were dropped, which allowed him to go back and kill him. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Sparkle. How you doing, bestie? Love you, darling. Hi, who else is here? We've got Candice. Hello, Candice, love. How you doing? There's only 16 watching, but like I say, I set it up last minute, so this is left up. So the police found the scientist bleeding from his torso on his porch and tried life-saving measures. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, Snyder was charged with murder, carjacking and burglary when the police tracked him down. He appeared again in Abbasi's courtroom, the same judge that let him go, mysteriously let him go without any charges. He had him again on the 18th of February, where his arrangement on the new charges, so he went back about the gun charges that he never turned up for on the 5th, and they still didn't chase him down. What is going on? Why was this guy allowed to get away with this and given a free rein to go back and kill him? And it says here that his arrangement on the new charges was continued and bail was set at 3.175 million. Why would there be any bail set on someone who's murdered somebody in cold blood? Now, Abbasi was appointed to the Los Angeles Superior Court by Gavin Newsom in August 2025. His bio says he fills the vacancy created by the retirement of Anthony Trendacosta. It also says he is a Democrat. So is this a link? Now, this is where Carl lived. Sorry about that. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's not letting me open up a slideshow. Let me come out of this a sec. See if that's why. So why would this guy be going to the post office? It makes no sense. It's not letting me do it. So tonight is just a short one. We're just covering this one case because I've got a lot to speak to Sparkle about the next one. So that'll probably be like Thursday now. Tomorrow, I might try and find this guy in court. So this means the court looks beyond technical rules and focuses on what is fair. A judge considers the nature of the offence, the circumstances of the accused, and public interest, which is this lenient code. He used this lenient code 1385. The standard for dismissal under penal code is in the interest of justice. They let him go and commit justice. Doesn't make any sense, does it? It really doesn't. What are people saying in the live chat? How you doing? You okay? Yeah, what a palaver today, though. But, you know, all's well that ends well, I suppose. So I'm just going to try and find a video on this. Just give me a sec. It's really sad. And how this guy is getting away with it is beyond words, really. How on earth do you get away with that? Right. Let's get this up now. This is a 2-minute video. Don't think there's many people in tonight. Is the Sparkle, love? Lee's not here either. There's quite a few missing, actually. But yeah, I set it up too late. It was last minute, really. Right. So this is a short video about it. This is when he gets arrested for shooting Carl.
This is in mourning tonight after a renowned astrophysicist was killed during a carjacking.
Carl Grillmair was described as a brilliant man, a man who helped us better understand our own planet and the vast universe that surrounds us. CBS LA's Hunter Soward's live at Caltech in Pasadena with the very latest on this story. Hunter.
Juan, Susie, Carl was known here on this campus for his humor and for his creativity. Those I spoke to today said this is not only a huge loss for loved ones, it's a huge loss for the entire field of science. Shock and sadness on the campus of Caltech as colleagues mourn the loss of groundbreaking astrophysicist and astronomer Carl Grillmair.
We are shocked. This was so unexpected. Carl was full of life.
The 67-year-old killed Sunday in the Antelope Valley spent decades devoted to understanding the galaxies, studying the Milky Way, and making groundbreaking discoveries, helping scientists better understand our planet.
He was my mentor, my companion, my buddy.
Sergio Fajardo Acosta knew Grillmair for 26 years and worked alongside him at Caltech's IPAC department.
He is, and I say in the present tense, Carl is irreplaceable, because the ingenuity he injected into his research in astronomy
It's a weird
is
thing, isn't it?
unparalleled.
According to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, they responded early Monday morning to a shooting in the town of Llano, southeast of Palmdale. They say around the same time, reports of a carjacking eventually led them to the suspect accused of shooting Grillmair, who was quickly arrested and charged with murder and carjacking. Grillmair is now being remembered for his brilliance and generosity.
Always ready to teach, to share his knowledge. He never held anything back.
Grillmair's work spans decades, degrees, and achievements. With specific breakthroughs in the study of stellar streams, he made numerous scientific discoveries. While at Caltech, he worked for the Spitzer Science Center, and in 2011 was awarded the NASA Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal.
He was an inspiration.
And the suspect has been identified
happened
as
then?
29-year-old Freddie Snyder. He's behind bars right now for carjacking and murder on a $2 million bond. We have reached out to the sheriff's department for more information on the circumstances leading up to this shooting, if this was random or targeted. Of course, we will continue to follow this story for you. We're reporting live tonight in Pasadena. Hunter Sowards, CBS LA.
Hunter, thank you so much.
It's just so sad, isn't it? It's just so sad what has happened. So I'm trying to find out more about the guy that allegedly did it. So we're going to have a quick gander through now, because I'm not ready yet. I haven't got enough information on General McCasland to go and do the next one. So this is why I wanted to focus on this guy. I also wanted to look at his work, what he did as well, because there's just too much that doesn't make sense for me on this one. Way too much. So there's this is a news crew video. I'm just going to play this one, trying to find some more information. It's just happened, and he's driving around the area. This is when it's just happened. Pin it down there, look. So we're just seeing just how it's showing us just how remote this place is. It's in the middle of nowhere. I like to look at videos like this. Bless you. You'd have bless you. You'd have nobody. There's nobody around. There's no way this guy was going to the post office, and there's no way he would go back and do a revenge killing, because he said, as long as he keeps him away, I'm not going to push for stuff, but keep him away from me. He never expected him to be let go, so it couldn't have been a revenge killing. This guy had been stalking his house. I believe the person that did this is MK Ultra. Apparently, no one can find out exactly where he's staying, but he's denying it all, even though we know it's him, or they know it's him. I'm really interested to see if we can get into that courthouse tomorrow, because he's going to be up again for this. But look at it. It's just totally dead. Look, dead end. In other words, no one goes up there unless you live there. There's no reason for him to be up there. There's no way that was towards the post office. So I genuinely think this is another one that is extremely highly likely linked to this entire cluster of death, right? 20 miles is a bloody long way to the post office. I know, and it wasn't even in the same direction. And why did he have a gun? Doesn't make any sense. So Caltech is the company that he worked for, but they also had all these NASA contracts. So this was put out literally a day after he died on the official Caltech website, very quickly after he died. So it says the Caltech mourns the passing. It says he was an astronomer. He at the IPAC Science and Data Center. They were mapping out the skies basically in the Milky Way. So his interests spanned many topics such as exoplanets and stellar streams, which are remnants from ancient collisions between our Milky Way and other galaxies. He discovered dozens of these streams, with many named by him. Have you noticed that they're all the top scientists in their field? Hi, Claire Bear. Hi, love. They're all top scientists in their field, aren't they? You know, you've got one that discovered a new metal, a new type of metal that's used in the missiles. You've got there's so many nuclear. They're all top of their game, or have been. which is what makes me think more and more that they've all been taken somewhere for something. Because if you, let's just say you've got something coming and you need all of the world's top scientists together. What are you going to do? You're going to go up to each of them and you're going to say, we need you to do this. And the ones that said no, they could have bumped them off. The ones that said yes go missing. Now, when I've finished General McCasland on the next one, there's some more, there's a couple more to do that have appeared. There's 3, I think. And then we're going to cover the Chinese scientists, because there are now 9 missing or deceased Chinese scientists, space scientists. It's not just happening in the US, it's happening in China as well. So there's something bigger than the US happening here. It's really bizarre. So in 2007, in one of his most impactful findings, he was the lead author on a publication that captured for the first time enough light from planets outside our solar system, known as exoplanets, to identify molecules in their atmosphere, according to a press release. He was born in 1959, Alberta, Canada. He was a Canadian. He had two younger siblings. Just reading through it now. In 1997, he joined IPAC, initially serving as a member of NASA's Spitzer telescope infrared spectrograph and infrared array camera instrument support teams, and as deputy lead of the IRS team. He was part of IPAC's bedrock for many years. These are these people that map the galaxy, and his passing impacts on all of us, it says. It was always a pleasure to experience Carl's creativity. Just reading through this now. Over the course of nearly 30 years, he worked on numerous projects. He worked at this thing here, this NEOWISE data center, was a NASA mission. I need to do more research into this. Was a NASA mission that used space telescope to hunt for asteroids and comets in our solar system, including those that could impact Earth. Now, do you remember the other one? One of them made the actual device that would shoot an asteroid down if it were coming. And the other one that was killed or missing was the one that did the test runs to use the thing. This guy worked on these as well. Recently, because he was still working, he weren't retired. Recently, he began a project to test new instrumentation at Caltech's Palomar Observatory to monitor for meteor impacts on the moon's surface during an upcoming lunar eclipse. It is a really exciting project, and I know he was looking forward to it. He was in the receipt, as I said earlier, of the 2011 NASA Exceptional Scientist Achievement Medal and numerous NASA Group Achievement Awards. He was named to the Maclean's Magazine Honor Roll in 2006 as one of 39 Canadians to make the world a better place. He was awarded more than 400 hours of Hubble and Spitzer space telescope. He was using the Hubble as a principal investigator. He published 147 peer-reviewed papers. In his personal life, he was a pilot, flying small aircraft. He loved the outdoors. I don't know if he had any children. I feel like he did. I know he had a wife. He had a small observatory in his house. No, sorry, I'm yawning now because I'm so tired. No, he's survived by his wife, Louise. So he had no children. There's quite a few with no children, I've noticed. So, hello, Fruit King. Oh, he always is, mate. Always. Apparently, I don't watch him. Let me see if it's you. I gave you a wrench. It must be a different channel or something. Do you know what? Honestly, Fruit King, I don't watch him. I don't care for that piece of shit. I'm not interested. I just go and do what I do my own thing on YouTube and just carry on with my own shit. And then I have a life outside, you know? I don't even watch him. I don't even know what he gets up to, but I just keep getting told that he's constantly obsessed with me. It's so fucking weird. It's like I've never met this person. He must have been in love with me or something. Fucking weirdo. So, and dark matter as well. Now, dark matter's really interesting, isn't it? What is the link between all of these people that are dead or missing? That is what we want to do. Once we've got all of them, put salt on him. That's what a lot of people say. But actually, I wouldn't actually hurt an actual one, though. That's the thing. An actual, you know. Right, I'm hoping it's not going to let me. I really wanted to show this video, but it won't let me because it wants me to take out something that I don't want to take out. So I'm trying to find out more about this guy. Now, I was watching a video yesterday about this woman who was spoken to his wife. I'll try and get hold of it. Hi, Lee. How you doing? I'm going to try and get hold of this video. Now, they're saying that he was arrested for carjacking. I'm trying my best to find more out about this guy. I really am. Who did it? I want to know more about him. This Freddie Schneider. And apparently he's not speaking. He was died from a bullet to the torso. Now, I'm sorry, but if you die, if you're murdered on your porch and there's a cluster, there's something going on. Right, let me just quickly see if I can find this video I was watching yesterday. One sec. How you doing, Lee? You okay? Good to see you. Yeah, it's this has been pretty mind-blowing, this stuff. And then we're going to get on to the next one we're going to be covering is so the Neil McCasland who vanished into thin air, literally vanished into absolute thin air, and no one knows where he went. It's so weird. Right, I've got this video now. Let me just put this up for you because this is really, really interesting. So I'm going to have to pause it because obviously it's fair use. Let me just grab this up for you. Because this woman who's speaking has spoken to the family. But what's really weird about it, though, about this one now that I'm going to show you, is that she does start to say that she thinks the wife might be right, that these are not related. Now, I think that's wrong. I think these are related. But I think that the wife, the husbands and the wives of these things are either A, too scared to say they think something's going on, or B, they're paid. But anyway, let's watch a bit of this. It's really interesting.
The fifth on that tier of 5.
Yep.
Let's go. Let's start with him. First of all, if you wouldn't mind, just for people that didn't hear episode 411, where we did talk about like what exactly happened, can you just rehash what happened with his murder and what happened 2 months before his murder?
Yes. And originally, by the way, this was clarified by his wife because I even misreported this at first. So in December of 2025, a man that we now know as Freddie Snyder, he's 29 years old. We don't know much about him. We know that neighbors in the area kind of said he was sort of unhinged. But he was on Carl Grillmair's property with a rifle of some sort, an AR-15 of some sort. And
originally, it was reported that Carl called 911 for someone trespassing on his property, but that's not the case. His wife said he actually went out and just kind of started talking to him. And he just, they were talking, and then he went back up to his wife, and his wife was like, "What's going on?" And he just said, he's kind of odd. He mentioned something about coyote hunting, but apparently when Freddie Snyder got down to the driveway, there were 2 cop cars.
Woman's and she's a journalist. I think she's got her own channel as well, where she's been interviewed on here. I'm going to pop the link in. I'm using this video under fair use. I'm going to be pausing it and giving comment. But she gives us a lot more insight than what I can find on various pages, because she's spoken to the wife. But I do find this interesting. Towards the end, she starts to say that she thinks this might just be a one-off and not linked. Now, I think that's because she knows that the wife is watching, and she knows if she starts talking about conspiracies, then the wife won't speak to her again. So that's what I was just saying, that it's reported that he rang the police. He didn't. He went out to him and he spoke to this guy to try and calm him down. But let's continue to what she says.
Waiting for him. And so I guess per Carl's wife, Louise, the cops asked Carl if he wanted to press charges, trespassing charges, which would be a misdemeanor in California. And he just said no. And, his wife just said he was the nicest guy ever. He would have never wanted this guy to get in trouble. He thought he was weird, but, whatever. Now, in the area of where he lives, which is Llano, California, and this is really important. Again, I go back to these locations, right? It's pretty isolated. And his wife confirmed this, but she also confirmed that in the area within like a mile or so, 2 other people worked in aerospace research. I just, for their safety, I'm not going to say where they work because, whatever.
Please.
I thought that was super interesting.
So 2 people in the area worked at the same research place as this guy. Interesting.
But, Freddie Snyder gets booked on a felony weapons charge. Okay. I'm looking at his booking information. And if you want to go to LA Mag, I have a whole article on Carl Grillmair alone where I sort of screenshot some of this stuff. And he was just released on his own recognizance that day upon being booked for a felony. And by February 5th, the prosecutors just completely dismissed the case. And now, because I don't have the paperwork yet, I've requested this. I don't know the judge and I don't know the prosecutors, but I did email the LADA's office and I'm like, can you guys give me...
we have that information now. As you know, I've said before that this Judge Abbasi was appointed directly by Gavin Newsom, the Democrat leader, we're going to call it that, dictator over in California. But when this lady did this was like 9-10 days ago. We didn't have that information, but she's the one that's been pushing for that information, who the judge is. How bizarre they just let him go on a felony charge. It makes 0 sense. I think this guy was MK Ultra'd, but we want to find out more on him. But let's continue.
More information while I'm waiting, any kind of comment, and they just said, no, we don't have a comment on this. All I could find about this is that he was released under California Penal Code 1385, which is a provision that just allows a judge to dismiss or reduce charges, quote, in the interest of justice, meaning he didn't have a criminal record, perhaps, but that's all we know right now. So
we don't really know anything about him.
No, he has like no social media presence. Nothing that I could really find. And I have his booking photo, which is also interesting because, Los Angeles, and it's just funny, they rarely release booking photos, right? You have to jump through hoops to get these unless you're David, the singer. And in that case, they'll literally put it out there for you, which was shocking. So I do have his booking photo. And I put it in this article.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah. Who knows? So
he's 29.
Yeah.
Years and
20. I know, right? I think it's the beard. But charges dismissed February 5th. And then by February 16th, he goes back.
Did he have an attorney appear for
We're
him before?
covering the NASA scientist murders and disappearances. We're on number 5, though Amy Eskridge did have like 3 shows. So, but we're on our 5th actual show on the individuals, but there's been about 7 shows in total. And we're covering Carl Grillmair, who was shot dead on his porch in Nevada. Who the Freddie Schneider, it's really weird. We do see his picture in a minute, but just while we're watching this, I'm just going to go and have a quick nose and see if I can find anything else on him, because if he is going to be in court tomorrow, thing is, Los Angeles are are more stricter than like the rest of US, where they're more like you can't just find anything out about them. But I'm sure there must be a way. Like in the UK, you can't see anything; it's all closed off. But it's worth having a look. It will get worse, Linda, and it's been going on now for a couple of years, but it's just getting worse. And I'm on enough antibiotics. This is why I'm so run down all the time. This tooth should have come out years ago, and it's caused nerve damage as well. So I don't know. I'm going to ring them up again tomorrow, chase it. But it needs to be done at the hospital, you see. It can't be done at the dentist. So I'm just going to go looking while we watch some more of this.
So he has not been arraigned yet. His arraignment has been pushed back. He's actually in Twin Towers.
No, I mean before. Like when the charges were dismissed, did he have any attorney listed to his name?
No, because nothing in the docket.
Interesting.
But I'm sure he had a public defender with him, because you pretty much are assigned one, unless you want to say that you're pro se. But again, I was surprised that his arraignment was pushed back till April 29th, which kind of led me to believe that perhaps maybe there is some kind of NGI plea coming, not guilty by reason of insanity. And in order to do that, you do have to be, evaluated and on, both sides. So I don't know, but he came back and shot him. And I don't know.
2 months later.
2 months later. Yeah.
What was this, February 19th?
This was the 16th.
16th.
Yeah. No motive that we know about. It's really strange that he was released and then came back and killed him. But his wife has said she thinks it's silly that everything is being sort of grouped in.
Why did she say it was silly?
She just said, he has nothing to do with the other people. Like, I have no idea why anybody would say that. Like, he was just murdered. I mean, she didn't say like he was just murdered. I'm saying that, but that was sort of her tone. She was very dismissive of it. But
it's just interesting. The guy has all his charges dropped on February 5th, you said, and he had been let out on his own.
Yeah. So I've just found this article. So he has already been, when they're saying Wednesday, that was like last week. So I've now got some pictures of this guy. This guy does not look sane, guys. He looks utterly insane. Look at his face. He was apparently smirking at the camera. So he's now due in court. When it says Wednesday, he's already been in court. So that was a couple of weeks ago. He is going to be back in court, I'm told, on the 29th of May again. So he was in court on Wednesday, where he repeatedly smirked and smiled. They do not have a reason. Bizarre court antics. They still don't have a reason for him doing this. Who's thinking MK Ultra here? Here he is. This guy doesn't look 29. He looks this person on the screen is supposed to be 15, 16 years younger than me. Make it make sense. Continued to, so this Wednesday has happened. He did not enter a plea, right? 26th now, it says, so it's 29th. His arrangement was continued until May the 26th. And they've got no motive. A nearby carjacking call came in soon after leading authorities to saying that he did a carjacking after he murdered, allegedly, Carl Grillmair. So this was him at his brief court appearance, but I can't find anything about this guy. Like they're saying here that he lived 2 miles away, but then they said there was no houses in the area for 20 miles. So it doesn't make any sense. Again, it says there that he called authorities. No, the wife called the authorities. We've just heard that. So he carried a loaded, unregistered rifle and he's still, post office, my arse. It doesn't make any sense. So Grillmair is one of at least 11 people who have either disappeared or died since 2022. We now know that is 14. We've uncovered some more. There's more. So we're going to watch a little bit more of this now. But these are some of the people. We've covered him, her. They all died between 2023 and 2026. Each played a key role in vital scientific research. And then these are the ones that are missing. We've got Monica Reza, we've covered her. Melissa Casillas, we've covered her. Anthony Chavez, we've covered him. Stephen Garcia, we've covered him. And then this is who we're going to be doing next time. General William Neal McCasland. All of these people disappeared in mysterious or suspicious circumstances. Apparently, there's 23 comments. Should we have a nose before we go back to the video? Snyder was released by his own recognition. You see, this is one of those policies that I enthusiastically disagree with. Someone commits a crime and goes to court. Yeah, I agree with that. Feels like Caltech is having a rough week. Yeah, there's lots more who were linked to Caltech. I'm going to put the rest of that video on now because it's really interesting. Did he work on? He worked on dark matter. He mapped the Milky Way. He discovered exoplanets that had water. We've covered a bit of it at the beginning, but when I've finished this, we'll cover a little bit more about what he did. He was working for Caltech and NASA for over 30 years. So he's not jet propulsion, but he's an astrophysicist, and he worked on a lot of weird stuff, a hell of a lot of weird stuff. Each one is vital in their, it's either jet propulsion, nuclear, astrophysicist, dark matter, anti-gravity stuff, all weird stuff that these people are so intelligent that I can't even understand. There's no way they just all conveniently disappeared or were murdered by some random person. It doesn't make any sense.
Recognizance back the day he was arrested in December. So he's been floating around for 2 months, and the charges get dropped. And then 11 days after that, he goes back to the original place where technically this all started in a way. Yeah. And blows Carl away on, like, what was the crime? Shoots him in the torso. He just walked up with a gun. Do we know anything? Did he say anything? Carl was on the porch. So if I had to guess, which I don't know all the details, this is pure spec. Pure spec. But I would say Freddie showed up and Carl was probably like, oh, this guy again? Probably came out onto the porch and got shot.
Missed Yvonne coming in. Sorry, big up Yvonne. I'm just looking back through the chat now. I seen Claire come in. I think I missed Yvonne. If you did come in, I missed you. The thing is, though, Bailey, I knew it was you anyway, but they haven't changed your name. They're giving you your username. Everyone's got a username, and then you've got your channel name. They're doing it because people keep cloning people. So people will call themselves, for example, Penny Bunny, but then the username will identify them. So I'm Penny Bunny, but you might be Penny Bunny 123, but they'll look the same as me and they'll have the same photo. I'll get loads of clones, and that's why they're doing it, to stop all the clones. Each person's got their own username, and that's why they're seeing your username in there. You could change your username to something like Bailey something if you wanted to, but I didn't know it was you anyway. But thanks for coming in. This is really weird, isn't it? Bailey, have you heard about this Carl Grillmair? I can't say.
Is there a ring camera?
I requested all of this information, and listen, the chances that I get, because I basically, I sent them the 2 case numbers, right? So I'm thinking I will get information from the first case in December because that's closed. Carl's murder, I may not get info on because it's an open investigation. Yeah. So at least I'm hoping I can get the 911 call from the first one to see if I can piece anything together here. And his wife was so kind. She said I could reach out to her again.
How'd you get in touch with her in the first place? You just call her?
Yeah, I just called her.
How long did you talk with her?
5 minutes or so, 6 minutes, maybe longer. Like I said, I feel bad because it's so fresh and it's so, I mean, I even said, like, do you mind if I call you again or text you? And if you want, I can even keep you updated on things. And she said, yeah, that would be great.
But she, and this is one of those places I always try to be really careful because, again, these are real people. This is a real grieving widow. Her husband has freshly just been murdered. Yeah. It is, it's probably not fun to open up the internet and see that a bunch of people are fucking talking and speculating about it. Unfortunately, it's been pulled into a story that now the White House is talking about. So it is in the public domain. Mm-hmm. That is what it is. I have seen in the past, though, and this is where it's a weird dance, grieving families who are upset, and the priority is obviously the fact that they've just lost a loved one, immediately do try to rule out or say, no, this had nothing to do with such and such. And then later it's like, oh, that probably had something to do with such and such.
Yep. I understand.
That's not their fault. But like, do you think that it's a possibility that even though she's ruling this out, she, for very good reason, by the way, hasn't had a chance to see that maybe he did know someone or there was something he worked on they never talked about or things like that?
For Carl Grillmair, no. No. I think that is
this is where things get weird because she's a journalist for the LA Times, so we have to be wary of her, what she's saying, because she is the mainstream media. Where she says that there's no way that this could be linked makes me a bit suspicious. She says that because the wife says there's no link between him and the others, then there is no link. It's just a random. I don't believe that. So just be aware here of what she's saying. Basically, just for Bailey quickly, this guy is an astronomer and astrophysicist. It began in 1997. He studied exoplanets, galactic structure and dark matter. He collaborated on prominent NASA telescope missions, including the Hubble Space Telescope. And he worked on these projects that were amazing. NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center he worked at. He tested and calibrated its successor, the Wide Field. Can you take that in, please? And Planetary Camera 2. He discovered planets outside of the galaxy. Thank you. Outside of the solar system that had water. Exoplanet imaging techniques. He worked with the James Webb Space Telescope from 2000 to 2010. We need to literally go through all of these things that he worked on. And I just think it's such a coincidence that this is all happening and we're being told that we've got these asteroid things coming to us and stuff. And then we've got that weird planet stroke ship thing. I just think it's all really weird. What did they know? Or, like I said before, are they all being recruited for something big? Because we've got the Chinese ones as well, which we'll cover at a later date. But just keep an open mind with what she's saying, because I think here she is told to say this.
Possible, though, respectfully, for Susan Wilkerson McCaslin. So Neil McCaslin's wife. I think
he's the next one, and we're gonna that's gonna be the next show. She's saying there's nothing to see here, and this lady's saying she thinks that she's literally in some sort of nothing to see here because she's in shock. I personally think the wives have all been threatened.
Shutting down all of this
Okay.
being connected to something larger. Again, respectfully, I think that might be what you just said. For
Okay.
Carl's wife, I don't.
What makes you say that?
So I guess without sounding too crazy, it is sort of I think I'm good at reading people. I think at this point, I felt like I was reading her. There was an intuition I had where
Over the phone.
yes. And it sounds nuts. It was just something about her voice, something about her tone, the way she was talking to me. It was almost also like she was happy, not happy to talk to me, but she wasn't put off by this phone call. Which I would just be so annoyed if a reporter, that's why it's like sometimes you just hate your job and I think initially looking at some of these cases, it took me a day or two to work up the courage, or just the balls, I guess, to be like, all right, let's just get it done and call these people. Yeah. Because I've gotten cursed out on the steps of a courthouse before, where I went in the car and cried after, when I was, in Oklahoma for a case, and I had to approach a grieving fiance, and it was so embarrassing. And it was just, and you feel, not that it's like, yes, the embarrassment is a part of it, but the way you feel inside, like a total piece of shit when you're doing your job, but you're also trying to tell the story of this victim, right? You're trying to, and this was me doing development for a potential documentary. I worked in development briefly and for certain crime cases. And that's when they basically send you out to just do research and try to get people to sign on to work with you. And it was the same thing. I'm like, well, got to talk to him at some point. So here it goes. And he was not happy.
It's hard. It's hard. It's a weird, I'm not jealous of that part of your job.
Well, yeah, yes.
But and yeah, like you've done this for so long, and if you've done so many different cases, I do think there is something to be said for the fact that you can be on the phone with someone and kind of get a feeling. I also think that it's very possible that someone legitimately, like not even just as an instantaneous shutdown reaction, someone legitimately thinks there's absolutely nothing there and has every reason to believe there's nothing there, which, by the way, she may be 100% correct. I lean towards the wife being correct here. I am just asking questions on this. It's like, even just reading her, yeah, she might totally be telling the truth. And then maybe later we learn, oh shit, he really knew this other guy too. And if that's the case, then we change our opinion.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that. I just think that for Carl, I think it's a little different.
Yeah.
But for the others like Neil,
I disagree, because there's no way that this person was just randomly killed. And it's just too convenient for me. It is way too convenient, because you've got this person just happens to be just let out of of court, and everything dropped. It doesn't make any sense.
I think there might be something more there.
Yeah, the fact that there's, and maybe we can then tie this into the MIT physicist in a second, because you'll see where I'm going with this. The fact that
the MIT physicist, guys, is the one that we did last time, who was shot on his porch as well. So this is interesting.
A normally unwell, for lack of a better word, maybe kind of crazy person doing it with no motive. On the one hand, it's like, well, unfortunately, that is what people who are unwell do sometimes. They just, for no reason, hear voices in their head and they go kill someone.
Right.
That's very real. And a lot of the percentage of the time, that is what it is. It's no different in the percentage of the time with this case when we're looking at statistical probabilities. However, people's heads do go to like, man, he targeted him. He was there. He talked with him, didn't do anything, and then came back and, as far as we know, just blew him away. And it's like, of all the people he could have done that to, it's a remote place.
Yeah.
A guy who happened to be working on this shit. This is where people are like, it's convenient. He didn't have a motive. It's convenient. He's fucking crazy. Could it be, some fucking MK Ultra guy or something?
Yeah. And we don't necessarily know.
See, this guy's spot on. He's spot on. This MK Ultra stuff. I'm just watching the dogs. Hang on. George, let Mama get some. Oh, Gizmo's not getting much chicken. Yeah, it's interesting that you said that, isn't
He
it?
had no motive, or if he's crazy. It sounds like he's
Sounds
crazy.
like it,
Yeah,
yes.
it does. He also was arrested for a carjacking the same day that of the murder. So
That's important.
yeah, no, really. And so I just go back to, like, it was a very isolated area. Why was he there? Why was he on this property, right? Like, why did he specifically go back to this property? I mean, it's
Right.
just yeah, it's annoying to think about not having these answers. And I'm not, I don't even know if annoying is the right word. I'm just like, I want more information.
Sure.
It's like, it's driving me bananas. And same with the rest of these cases. And I will say, I hate when this happens, but they are starting to keep me up at night because I don't like that. I just want to go to sleep. Just let me
Right.
sleep.
'Cause you're thinking about
So
it.
this is really interesting stuff. I'm going to hear the last bit of this, but I do think that this could be linked to the MIT professor.
I mean, that's the part that you take the job home with you, because these are active things going on. I understand that. Did you talk with his wife at all in the 5-minute call about his work or the nature of it?
Not really. I think that we can get there. Her and I think we can, but no,
That's your girl now.
yeah, no, she talked more about him as a person. Like, he was so smart.
Thank you guys for watching the episode. If you haven't already, please.
There you go. So I've put the link into that guy's video. Like I say, I've only used it because I wanted to get little bits of information from her. Yeah, I was just going to say to Sparkle, the next one we could do with having like a brainstorming call or something if you're available, because the next one's going to be William Neil McCaslan. That one is going to be mind-blowing. I'm guessing Bailey's already covered that. It's really good you've done that, Bailey. You're very welcome to come on with your findings, love. We've known Bailey for years. She just looks under a different name because her name looks different, like everyone's name looks different now. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that there. Like I said, it was only going to be about one person. I don't know what you guys think. He was good, and she's got a channel as well. Let me just see if I can find it, because she's done her own investigations on this. I'm just trying to... Let me just find her name. I found them not long ago, and then they've disappeared again. So let me just try again. Because she works for, I think it's like the Lost... Here we go. I've got it. Hold on. He had a tiny bit. Is it all gone?
Right, cooking.
Gizmo had a little bit. Yeah, sorry, Gizmo didn't get much chicken. Right. Let me just see if I can get this up. He was a good interviewer, and she was a really good guest, I thought, to have on. Right, I found a video of hers. Let me just play a little bit of this. She's got her own channel, so I'm going to share this. But next time, me and Sparkle need to do a lot on Neil McCaslan. I want to get hold of the 911 call that his wife put in when she came home from this, I think it was a hair appointment, and he'd gone. Because the thing is, with the next one after this one, he worked with Monica Reza, who vanished on the hiking excursion with the yoga club. They worked together at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So anyway, I just want to hear what she's got to say.
Buckle up. We are going to discuss the very bizarre and mysterious murder of Carl Grillmair, the Caltech astrophysicist who was found murdered
Hi, Jimmy.
on his porch in February of 2026.
Get
And
the
if
fuck
you
in
have
there,
been
mate.
watching these videos, and I have a playlist about UAPs, UFOs, and the bizarre disappearances of aerospace researchers, Carl Grillmair's death falls into that category. This is just so bizarre and so frustrating on so many levels, because also Carl Grillmair's death could have been prevented. And I think you are going to be horrified once you learned what happened in December, 2 months before his Red Rum. So The defendant here, or the perpetrator, we have 29-year-old Freddie Snyder. And I have requested his mugshot. His booking photo was not available on any of the LA County jail websites. He's actually being housed currently at Twin Towers, which is actually where Nick Reiner is. But on December 20th, 2025, Snyder, who reportedly lives a couple of miles away from Grillmair, was seen on his property carrying a loaded, and now we know it was an unregistered rifle. So Carl Grillmair called police and reported this guy trespassing. So police come, they pick him up, they arrest him on a murder charge, or I'm sorry, a weapons charge. And also, again, his gun is unregistered. And this is a felony. And I looked up his booking record of this. It's a felony charge, but he was released right back out onto the street on his own recognizance. And it looks like a judge released him suddenly because of something called the Penal Code 1385 in California. It's often referred to as the PC 1385, and it's a code.
Right, so we've heard all about this. So she's literally covering the rest of that case. I just want to see if she mentioned about the guy, and hang on, she's talking about the work that he did here. Hold on.
Church, or again in Carl's case,
No.
I mean, he reportedly was doing research on
Not going
planets
back out, George.
that had water. He discovered water on certain planets, which again is just insane. So I go back to Nuno Lorio, the astrophysicist.
This is the guy that got shot, the MIT guy in Boston. George, what's the matter? George is at the door now. I think this is because of the hog
professor at MIT, who was also shot in December. And I have to wonder, when I say also shot in December, I go back to Snyder being on Grillmair's property in December with this gun.
He was on the property with his gun, literally days apart from the professor, the Nuno professor in Boston, who got shot in his foyer of his own property. This guy was originally on his property at the same time, like there was the double hit being taken out. This one, I believe, is MK Ultra because he looks insane. He looks bonkers, and he's laughing and stuff.
To carry this out, then was there some kind of connection here, right, between Snyder and Claudio Neves, who shot and killed Nuno Lorio in his home? I have not found a connection, but it does seem very, very strange. And would Grillmair have been shot and killed that day in December if he didn't call police? I don't know. And I want to read you something that a colleague had said about Carl Grillmair. He said, quote, "What was unique about Carl, and he is irreplaceable, was the ingenuity and the creativity, applying methods that nobody had ever thought of before, and very unique detective type methods. He was extremely hardworking, extremely creative, and the most generous individual one could imagine, end quote. And again, it says that Grillmair was renowned for his studies on the collisions of galaxies and the search for water on other planets. So they go on to say, the field of astronomy has lost a great figure. And I will also just pull up the medical examiner's report really quickly here, which does say that this is an open case, right? Because Freddie Snyder has not gone to trial yet, and that he died from a gunshot wound to the torso.
So this is the sort of stuff we need to see. Like, his body status has been released, cause of death, other significant condition. He was shot, gunshot wound to the torso, homicide, place of death. This is all on record. This is all important information. Now, I can't get this because I'm not in the US.
So, I go back to just really trying to figure out why this judge decided that she was going to release Snyder. on his own recognizance when he had a felony charge under his belt and he was walking around someone else's property carrying an AR-15. That is really, really disturbing. I am going to close this right now with something that I found. Rep Tim Burchett said to Matt Gaetz, but I just wanted to play this 2-minute clip as I close this. And again, I will continue to dive into this. You guys know I will. I made the playlist. I am here and I am committed. So let's share this tab.
Are they afraid of prosecution? Are they afraid of being disappeared? Are they afraid of some other force? Where does it germinate?
I think they're afraid of being disappeared, Matt. I think they're being murdered is what they're afraid of. I think some of them truly are because of things they've seen. But just the lying that goes on within these departments, NASA saying, well, we don't have anything. We haven't studied this or whatever. And I've been in meetings with them where they've told me they've studied it. And so, and they have stuff that's classified that they can't share with the public. And so, yeah, I think it's a big cover up. I think there's too many directions that it's going. I spoke to the president about it the other morning, a little bit about it, about, just being forthcoming and bringing the stuff out. And the problem is that you've got this arrogance within government. These people are so above the law on everything that they think that we're not fit to handle it.
It is funny because he is the government. So I do find it funny that he's saying that.
Our colleague from down in Florida, Moskowitz, he asked the question, I don't think the government has the right to tell me what I cannot be afraid of. And so, yeah, but I'm very much afraid
How
of these
did President
departments.
Trump react to your urging?
I don't think he, I don't want to say he didn't grasp the humongousness of it or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But I think he was on a lot of other things at that time, Matt. I think we got to get him close and we got to have a 5-minute conversation with him and just have the questions that he needs to ask. Because when I was in a meeting this year and I was told that the president was on a need to know basis on some of this information, I thought, man, y'all don't know Donald Trump like I know him. And a few of us know him because that's not going to sit well with him. Yeah. When I told him that, he goes, what does that mean? And I said, well, just that they're just completely arrogant and that they don't think you should have that information.
I'm going to stop this for a second. If you missed the interview I did last week with Dr. Bill Byrne, you should go and check that out. He is a little bit.
Right. So I'm going to end it there. At the moment, that's all we've got. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Apparently, he's back in court. Not a space agency, Lee. There's not a space agency because it's just bullshit. They don't go anywhere. They just float around in pools and stuff. It's just all bullshit. But anyway, so there we go. This is really, really bizarre, this one. And we're going to keep digging. Me and Sparkle are going to have to work together on another one. Hi, Steph. It's awful, isn't it? And there's so many. Now, they're all still there. I do want to do a video of a quick rundown of them as well. So in my video, I'm literally just going to be naming them in date order of who they were, what they did, and how they died, or how they disappeared. For those people that can't sit through it all, that they need to just know the basics of it. So I do want to do that as well. I'm probably going to wait till I get towards the end to do that. So it's probably going to be Thursday night. I'll speak to Sparkle after this and see whether she's free, because I'm going to need a lot of help with this one. Gemini did a lot of work on this one for me. She's Gemini AI. She got quite a bit of stuff together. It's awful, isn't it, Steph? It's just awful. It's really sad these people are dying. But are they dying or are they going off somewhere, You just don't know. Oh, thank you, darling. I'll message you in a minute and then we can discuss it, because I think the next one's going to be a lot, because it's a mind F, the next one. And then there's another 2 that have just been discovered that were killed or missing. And then once we've got them all, we can then do an open panel or something where people can just contact in and give your opinions on it. But we'll have to make sure that everyone just comes in one at a time, and so we don't get people talking over each other and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll do that. All right then, guys, thanks for watching. And if you're watching on the replay, we've got the replay crew, hit the like, leave any comments you want in the comment section. Remember to like the stream, guys. It does help. Thanks for joining me. It was a smaller crew tonight, but it was still very nice and cozy. Good night, guys. Good night. God bless. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ta. Bye.